Hello friends, welcome back to Astrology by Janay. My name is Janay and today we're talking about astrology. More specifically, we're going to be talking about the Uranus and Taurus transit. First of all, if I seem low energy, it is because I am so disappointed. I just spent 20 minutes recording the same video. Or, well, at least I thought I was recording. Apparently, a second after I hit record again and the recording stopped and I didn't notice and I just kept talking for 20 minutes and none of it was captured. Now I'm kicking the camera. But yeah, so now I'm going to re-record and, hopefully you are recording this time, because I'd be so sad if you were not. So yes, I started this Uranus and Taurus series about a year ago when, Uranus initially moved into Taurus, but then I stopped making videos and I never finished the series. So I really just wanted to finish what I started. So, Uranus and Taurus. Part 1 was about food, nutrition, and environment. Part 2 of this part right here is about money and finance. And part 3, which is coming up next, will be about technology and internet culture. So as a baseline, let's talk about what Uranus means and what Taurus means. Uranus is an outer planet, meaning it operates on a collective, global level, as opposed to the personal planets where we see those acting more on an individual basis. So, we have this outer planet Uranus that signifies upheaval, well, not upheaval, but just unexpected change that just comes out of nowhere and blows your mind. That can be great change or it could be not so great change. It also signifies social activism and technological innovation and social justice to some extent, but more just breaking out. I'm gonna get a little hippie here for a sec. Breaking out of the chains that the man puts on the sheep. That's what Uranus is about. And Taurus, the sign of Taurus for the sake of this video, is about, money and what we value. And that is literal, like monetary value, but also sentimental value and emotional value and kind of that, metaphorical value that we put on things. So Uranus is planet of innovation and, radical change is coming into Taurus and changing everything that we thought we could rely on in the sphere of, money and finance. For instance, I thought that, at any time I would be able to just go to my bank and do bank stuff. I'm no economist, so excuse that terrible oversimplification of things, but say I wanted to take out a loan. Doing that now in May of 2020 is not as easy as it used to be, even like 6 months ago. So the way we approach money and how we choose to invest and spend and, manage our money is so different. And, it's very likely that how we used to do things is going to stay in the past. That was how we used to do it. And in light of all these changes that are happening on a global level, which have to do with, other transits going on in the sky at the same time. But in light of all of that how we used to do things, it kind of has to stay in the past, because those same things will not work now and will not work moving forward. So, you know, I think of how so many people are struggling right now because their job security isn't the same as it's been. And, you know, a lot of people have lost their jobs. I don't remember the exact numbers, but what was it, like 30 million people since this pandemic started? Like 30 million people in the US alone have like filed for unemployment. That is insane. I think they said that's like the biggest hike in unemployment since the Great Depression. That is just totally crazy. And, you know, the economy was on an upswing, so this was not expected at all. And I apologize for talking with my hands so much. I'll try to stop. Mercury just moved into Gemini, and so, you know, that rules the hands and talking, so I talk with the hands a little bit. Anyways, I'll try to stop that. But yeah, this totally unexpected downturn. What did I just say? I'm just gonna roll with it. My hands will do what they're gonna do. My hands will do what they're gonna do. And I'm sorry, but you will have to deal with it. So yeah, the economy took this unexpected downturn, which nobody could have ever foreseen coming, because none of the data was pointing to that. Like, it shouldn't have happened. And it did happen, and now we have to, you know, figure out how we are going to adjust to what reality currently is. And at least from my perspective, reality is up in the air. I have no clue what's gonna happen tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. There's literally no way to plan things out or to know what to expect. And, you know, the sign of Taurus, the sign of Taurus does not like that at all. Taurus likes having a plan. Taurus likes to know what to expect, because there is safety and security and knowing what is to come. And this is just such an uncomfortable energy on so many levels, because nobody knows what's going to happen next. And because nobody knows what's coming, it makes it hard to, you know, establish a foundation, especially if you're just starting out with things. Like, my own personal finances are very personal, and I'm not going to tell you about the details of that situation, but I was just coming to a place where I was starting to understand, you know, how finance management and all this stuff works in the US. And then suddenly, you know, good old COVID-19 comes along and changes everything. Like, all these things that I was learning about, of how, you know, the banking systems work, how credit operates, like 401ks, yada yada. Those things are changing, and, you know, there's no way of knowing if this advice I was given, or like this advice I was looking up, you know, 2 months ago, is even going to be relevant in, you know, a year from now. Because I don't want to be a pessimist. I don't want to say total economic collapse. No, I don't think that's gonna happen. But, you know, radical economic change is something I am comfortable saying, because, you know, there's no way of knowing. Before the pandemic happened, like Social Security, for instance, that was due to run out for, you know, Americans, and not like every American would, like, America wouldn't be able to afford the current rate of I am not an economist. Let me just reiterate that again. I am not an economist. What I'm trying to say is America, America's government has been, under budgeting Social Security for a long time, and it was scheduled to run out at some point in the near future. And so, that was known, and nothing was being done about it because it was just that's a tomorrow problem, and we could afford to put things off because things right now are fine, so we'll worry about our troubles later. But now these money issues these are today problems, and so we have to think of how we're going to deal with this. And we could talk about the stimulus packages, and I got my Trump bucks, as one person would like to call them. But this government money is a quick fix. It's a band-aid that will hopefully get the economy operating at some sort of normal level, but there's no way to say what normal is anymore, because the pandemic has changed everything, and there's just no normal. What the fuck is normal anymore? I don't know. Hey Uranus, give me some answers. Uranus says no. Uranus isn't going to give you any answers. The answer that Uranus gives you is just wait and see what I have in store for you. You may like it, you may not. Haha, surprise. That's Uranus. But yeah, let me get my notes here. Gotta wait for my computer to start back up because I was just rambling. So yeah, because what money means and how money operates in the world now is so different. Different is not reliable, especially just at the start. Nobody feels secure with different. So it's gonna take some time to get used to how to operate in this different fiscal world. And one thing I've noticed is that because money is so tight for everyone, and people so many people are out of jobs and saving their money and don't want to spend it on unnecessary things, I've seen people not doing away with money, but having money as an option. Money isn't required all the time, especially for artists or people with some other skill set. For instance, just a personal example, my friend makes jewelry, and her jewelry was gorgeous, and I wanted to get my hands on some of it because it was just beautiful. And she was selling them, but she allowed money to be an option. So you could pay for a necklace, or you could trade for a necklace. I chose to trade for a necklace. Well, I chose to pay and trade because I got 2 necklaces. Anyways, that's besides the point. The point is that, we bartered. We exchanged one good for another good. Well, I exchanged a service. So I gave her a natal reading, and she gave me a cute necklace that I'm not wearing. But anyways, money is so volatile. You don't know what your dollar is going to be worth. You don't know where your next dollar is going to come from in some cases. And so you have to learn to adapt and, come up with innovative ways to get by when money is tight. And because there is so much change happening on the economic level, when change happens, it's very likely that certain portions of the population get left behind with the new change that comes in. And, you know, when people get looked over, they're not usually happy about that, and you know, they tend to stick up for themselves and advocate for themselves. And so we have this idea of social activism coming into the sphere of economics. So economic activism, I think we'll start to see a lot more of in the coming years. You know, you think about the wealth gap, you think about income inequality, and how, you know, it's been a part of the conversation for a while now, but they've only been becoming bigger parts of the conversation in the last few years, and I imagine they will become even bigger part of the conversation, and we might even see some policies be put into place in order to combat some of those problems. Or at least I hope so, because, you know, if Uranus is good for anything, it's social activism and, you know, empowering the underdogs. So hopefully some of society's underdogs who've been, you know, looked over and taken advantage of for decades in this country will start to, you know, get their own. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into talking about Uranus and Taurus. And of course, since we've been experiencing this transit for a little bit over a year now, a lot of what I said was, you know, said with hindsight about the past year and about how we're currently experiencing this transit. The articles I wrote happened right at the beginning of the ingress, so there's not much hindsight in those. But I think they do get the general energy of this transit down. So if you want to check out those articles, definitely feel free, because they go much more in depth than I do in the videos. So you can find those articles on my website or on my Facebook page. And you can stay tuned on this channel for part 3 of the series, which goes over internet, technology, and all that good stuff. And yeah, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I'd like to thank you for subscribing to the channel. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.